Who is your favorite turtle and why?
I think Leonardo. I think that's an uncommon response because he's the wet blanket, because he's the leader that's trying to rein in Mikey and Raph and stuff. But I've just always been drawn to leadership types, and I like the idea of being put into a position of authority over a group of peers, but you still have an authority figure over you, which would be Splinter. He's basically the father, like the tiebreaker of the group. I would love to tell a story about Leonardo taking over as leader of the Turtles after Splinter dies of old age or battle or whatever it is, because he's the field leader, but Raph and Mikey are not necessarily always willing to listen. But if he literally became like the leader of their order, it's a different type of dynamic. So anyway, I've always liked Leo. I created style guides for all the Turtles and how I would draw Batman. And I tried to make visually distinctive each turtle from one another so that it wasn't just the same turtle 4 times with different color bandanas. They have different body shapes, different head shapes. But Leonardo looks the way that he did in the Mirage era, or the original Turtles version. He doesn't have like the beaky sort of face of the very original Turtles, but the iconic version of the Turtles, what you think of when you think of the Turtles from the 80s and 90s, that's essentially what Leo still looks like. And to me, he's like the heart of the team, or like he's the backbone or the core of the team.
I think the reason he finds himself not being the main character or the thrust of the story a lot of the time is because he's somewhat resolved. He's pretty confident that he's walking the right path. I think the reason why stories center around Raph most of the time is because he's really kind of not sure he's on the right path, which is a very teenage idea, too. One of my favorite Ninja Turtles moments is in the 1990 movie when he comes home after having his scuff with Casey Jones, and Splinter insists that he come talk to him. As soon as he takes a breath, basically, he realizes that he is in some turmoil. That, you know, that this anger that he keeps acting out is because he's growing up and he needs guidance. I think that movie is brilliant on a number of levels.
I agree.
But most of all, the fact that they took away the father figure, especially when Raph needs it the most.
To add to that, as far as Leo creates the baseline so that when Mikey does something goofy or Raphael does something that's outrageous or brash or something, you have something to establish it from. So if you have that bedrock and then Raphael does something, you can contrast the two personalities. And Donnie is always going to basically, he sits right in that or even a little bit below it because he's so passive most of the time. And so have you ever heard of shipping? Do you know what shipping is?
No.
All right, so you're perfect for this. All right, so I'm on stage on a panel in Australia and it's a Ninja Turtle panel. We're opening to questions, and somebody asks, why do you think Raphael and Leo ship so often together? And I said, what's that? So I'm picturing like a shipping schedule, because sometimes there's one-shot issues or a micro series of like just a Raphael miniseries or just a Leo miniseries. And they're like, no, like, why do you think that they're so often put together? So I'm looking around trying to get like indications or clues from anybody else in the audience, and people are looking at me. Some people are like they're waiting for me to answer this question, and other people also look confused. And I said, well, because they have such a difference in personality that there's always going to be a tension between the two of them. And while I'm answering this, the person in the back who asked this original question is going like they look so excited. Well, John Samariva, the Australian artist who I was on stage with, and he's also drawn the Ninja Turtles, he goes, wait, I think shipping means something different than what you think it is. And I said, well, what does it mean? And he goes, well, it's in like the fan community. Shipping is like fan fiction when they're intimate together. So shipping means putting two characters together in an intimate fan fiction. Oh, I have no idea. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know. Because like I felt like I had now joined into a conversation that I was surprised by. Like I was ambushed by this subject matter. I have no idea what you're talking about. So I apologized to them and I said, I actually don't know the answer to your question. So what she was asking is, how come there's so much fan fiction with Leo and Raph, who are brothers, being intimate with one another? I don't know the answer to that. It was just something I had never even heard of before.